Awesome. Okay, we're live. So, hey, those of you joining us live on YouTube, this is Stormfront Freaks Raw, episode 98. So we call it Raw because you're just getting the recording of our show. We typically edit and chop this thing up and throw it up for the audio podcast. So if you'd rather hear the edited version of this show, you can catch us on all your favorite podcast apps, including Spotify, iHeartRadio. But that'll be posted probably Sunday, so you could wait till then. Otherwise, if you're going to join us live, or if you're watching this after the fact, you're streaming it. You get who knows what we talk about and what we cover in between. What we edit, and sometimes we encourage you, if you got kiddos, put the earmuffs on. You never know what might not get beeped out in this case.
Hopefully not tonight.
We will do that. We will do that. We'll edit that out for the audio podcast. So thanks for joining us. And if you are live on YouTube, you could also join us in the chat box. If you got any questions for Ginger, if I happen to catch it, we'll maybe throw those out there for Ginger Z tonight as well. I am subbing in for MJ, so I'm doing the behind-the-scenes stuff as well as trying to moderate this thing, so it might be a little interesting. And who did we just lose? Lost Dina.
Yeah.
So
that's okay.
So getting
okay.
started. So
no, it's not okay. I mean,
Ginger's on. So Ginger, do you have any questions?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. I think it's really funny that the person who is always on television can't get a video to work. But other than that,
well, we'll just assume you're in your onesie pajamas and opted not to be on camera this evening.
I will say that I'm a little upset that I reapplied mascara in the effort.
That probably does suck.
You just worked out. You worked out, didn't you? That was it. And you're like, I'm not going.
All right, so we'll do this. And Ginger, did you double check when you went to your settings that the camera again wasn't showing up?
I did. I went to that same thing and it kept muting, or it looked like it was going to mute both. So I thought that's probably not good.
Okay. And it wasn't in the drop-down menu for what's it using for your microphone? Your
just
laptop?
My computer. Is that not working?
Okay. Nope. That's fine. I was just curious because sometimes people have an add-on camera that also has a microphone and it might see both, but.
No, it's just I would have used the regular camera.
Okay. Cool. So here's what we'll do. We'll get started. I'll do the normal little intro. I'll mention it's episode 98 and that Ginger is on, and then I'll quick jump into our 100th episode plans. We'll introduce the team, quick do happy hour, let everybody know what you're drinking, and then Maz, you can do Ginger's intro, and we'll go from there.
Honored.
We will take a little break about 20 after. Take just a quick little break that gives us in post-production an opportunity to put in a couple things. And then we'll come back with just a few more questions and then hit your lightning round.
Okay, great.
Is that good? Hey, Ginger, which really doesn't matter because this is what your lightning round is going to be, but I hope you know your animated films, highest grossing animated films of all time because you have kids. So we'll see that we're going to do a little game with animated movies.
Still mine.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little.
Yeah.
What was that? Hello?
Ginger? Marianne? Gilligan? Anybody?
McFly?
Hello? Ginger?
Yes.
Maybe she's reconnecting.
She's just mad.
There she is.
There we got her.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't move, but I don't know what would have happened there. So
the only thing might be is if someone else in your household might be using some bandwidth, streaming something or something like that.
Turn off my phone just now, and that seemed to have helped. So I'm the only one. Yeah.
So in other words, you were watching something on your phone while you're podcasting with us.
What happened? Like 4 texts came in, actually from a guy that I met in Hurricane Michael, and he was pitching me a bunch of stuff. So honestly,
kidding, serious.
I think that's exactly what happened.
Oh no.
All right.
Hey, met you in the hurricane. How you
So here
doing?
we go. You guys ready?
Does that line work?
You guys ready? Here we go.
Okay.
We are coming in 3, 2. Hey, welcome everybody to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing devices. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast. It's brought to you by the Atmosphere Weather app, your hourly weather forecast. It's on a clock for a quick read. It's the last daily weather app you'll ever use. Atmosphere Weather app. It's available on Apple, Android devices, and you can learn more at atmosphereweather.com. And don't forget, guys, I always check out. I mean, these shows are a lot of fun to do, but don't forget to check out all these other previous shows we've done. For example, recently we had one with Hurricane Man Josh Morgerman, also CNN severe weather expert Chad Myers, just to name a couple. But tonight, this is episode 98. And to help us promote Women in Science Day on February 11th, we're excited to have ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z is back with us tonight. So happy to have you back on, Ginger. We're obviously going to do her lightning round and stay with us because we'll continue to have our hashtag Weather Fools and WX resources later on and much more. But before we get to all of that, if you haven't heard, our 100th episode is coming up. We're going to be live. So we're going to actually be doing our 11th or 100th episode live in Oklahoma City at the Vanessa Beer Company on Friday, March 6th at 8 o'clock Central. And come early. We're going to start recording at 8 o'clock Central. We'll be there before that, so you can stop by and check us out. And you can visit with us. You can also meet meteorologist and Oklahoma TV legend Gary England is going to be with us. And the WCM at the National Weather Service in Norman, Rick Smith, will also be there, so you get a chance to meet them as well. We're going to have an amazing time, live event, special beer tapping. So they're making a beer for us, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
I'm so excited.
We'll have giveaways and lots more. But best way to introduce who is with us tonight, as far as our co-hosts, is find out what they're drinking. It's always happy hour whenever we record. Lets you know we like to have a good time. It's a lot of fun whenever we're hanging out together with our guest. So let's find out who we got tonight. Maz, what are you drinking tonight, sir?
All right, I'm back to my Fatheads Bumbleberry, which is pretty good.
Whoa,
Nice.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
the honey blueberry ale bumbleberry Fatheads. It's
Is it
good.
an IPA, Maz?
It's an ale.
Okay.
It's an
ale.
ale. Okay.
Huh.
So
Bumbleberry.
anyway,
Is it
Yeah,
got a
it's
berry
good.
taste?
It's very light. It's kind of a summery thing. But I found it in the back of my fridge because I'm like, I can't be out, I'm like, oh yeah, I got a bumbleberry. Good.
Good.
It's pretty
Good.
good. Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
Dina. Dina, what are you drinking?
I'm not drinking alcohol, but I've got one of my raspberry ices. I know Brady likes it. I'm saving it all
do.
up for our 100th episode. So
Oh, serious. Okay.
yeah, I'm getting
And
serious
you're saving
now.
your liver for our 100th
I am.
episode, I imagine,
Wow.
too.
I ruined it at Christmas, and I'm trying to get it back, and then I'm gonna, ruin
Good.
it again.
Good. All right,
Yeah.
Jen. Jen, what are you drinking tonight?
A vanilla latte in a Stormfront Freaks mug. Because if I drink alcohol, when you have a toddler, you need as much energy as possible. So this is.
I'll give you a pass because it's in a Stormfront Freaks
Yeah.
mug. That'll be your
Thank
saving
you.
grace.
He didn't give me one, did you know?
And then tonight, we're happy to have back on the show our atmospheric science graduate from the Ohio State University. But Brady is back tonight. Brady, what are you drinking, sir?
Guys, I'm definitely not drinking Woodford Reserve here. This is
Oh my goodness.
this is apple
Wow.
juice. This is apple juice.
Oh, that could have
That
been
looks
anything.
good.
That looked like you had.
It's not what?
Woodford Reserve bourbon. You guys have
Oh,
never
sure,
heard
it's
That
not
sounds
that.
good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No
I'm
way.
sorry.
Very good.
No,
I
this
have
is
my
apple
camera
juice.
turned
It
Don't worry
looks
about
like
that.
it though. You could have totally played that.
Interesting. All right. Well, tell you what, I'm going to get the hell out of the way. Maz, you take it away.
It also looks like a specimen I had once, but I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyway, hey, sorry. What a terrible segue. Sorry about that, Ginger. Hey, so I am super honored to introduce Ginger Z, who's the chief meteorologist at ABC News, reporting on the nation's weather on Good Morning America and across ABC News broadcast and digital platforms. Now, prior to joining ABC News, she was a meteorologist at NBC WMAQ in Chicago and at Wood TV in Grand Rapids, which is where I knew her from, was back in Grand Rapids. And Z, who was a storm chase since college, has a genuine passion for the atmosphere and a dedication to getting young people interested in science. Yay, Ginger. An acclaimed author, Emmy award-winning meteorologist, attended Valparaiso University and holds a Bachelor of Science degree in meteorology, and a Dancing with the Stars legend.
Woo,
Welcome,
woo.
Ginger.
Yay.
Thank you. Legend is that's a big word for that. I want to add though, this is actually very funny. I had Woodford Reserve earlier tonight.
Nice.
So
Wow.
Well done.
I'm right in vein with what you all are doing. And then I only had a tiny sip of that because that was all that was left. And I was trying to actually recycle the bottle was my purpose of getting rid of it. You see how that goes? And so then I moved on and I said, well, I can't just have one sip. So I went on to my Uncle Nearest, which is one of my new favorites. And if you don't know that brand, it's a really cool story. 1865.
And
that's all I'll say.
You just
I've
bought
never
the
heard of
Woodford
that.
yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What it's like being at ABC. I'm kidding. No, it's wonderful.
That's so awesome.
So you got to tell me about Dancing with the Stars. That's your second time now you've been on?
No, so what happened this last time when I did Radio City with them, they do a tour where they go around the US every year. And this year they invited me to come back. Now it's been 4 years since I did the show. And of course the one show they invite me to is Radio City, which is, 8,000 people. And I haven't danced in 4 years. So it was a big deal to be able to be back even for one show. And I'm actually going to be doing another one of their tour stops, one of their big ones. It's a 3-day big event in the Bahamas at the end of May.
Wow.
So I've
Wow,
Oh,
that
nice.
sounds like
Now, did
so
they give you
much
time
fun.
to prepare? Like, did they tell you they weren't like 2 days before, right?
We have video.
No. Honestly, I learned it in 45 minutes. And then
Wow.
Wow.
but it really was, as they say, riding a bike. I mean, I felt once Val was with me, it was like having this person who you've danced with before. He actually taught me how to dance 4 years ago. And that's what I learned from this, is that as the moment I got to his shoulder, to his hand, it's like, he's driving. And as he would say, it's like driving a Bugatti. So
Now, who taught you the tornado?
yeah, the tornado is my favorite move. No, I'm actually the twisting. That's the funny part. Every time I go back and try to dance, even my husband and I took classes, I would get a little bit, like you get a little motion sick right at the beginning.
Wow.
Or I've just gotten old. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I
So
you
didn't
gotta-
know
you
you did
gotta
it
explain what
twice.
it is,
That's
though.
great.
yeah, that is. And Ginger, you have a big spring coming up because now the release of your next book in your Helicity series is being released on April 21st, I believe, Chasing
Yeah.
Helicity Through the Storm.
Yes. So
Oh,
this is the end of the trilogy. So the longest shortest I can do, I think, is that I went to the publisher thinking I've never been a writer. I've always been a math and science person. That's just who I am. And but part of me, when I was pregnant with my first baby, I was like, I should write a science book for kids, because I was struggling to find those. And I thought, I've got this great platform. I can get to people. It's a dream of mine to be able to do this. And I went to them thinking I'll just do a baby book with like 60 words. That's probably what I can write. And they said, no, that idea that you have for this person named Helicity, that is a character that's made for a book for like 8 to 12-year-olds. And I was like, yeah, but that's like chapter book and I'm not a writer. And they said, well, why don't you just try? And finally, I broke through the label I had put on myself years and years before, when I was 12 or something, when one teacher told me maybe writing isn't your thing. And I sat down and I wrote 2 chapters and I sent it back to them and they said, this is great, write a book. And I was like, what? And then they said, write a trilogy. And so it's so exciting to see the end of this trilogy come together from something I never thought could happen. And I think it's a great lesson. I always talk to kids about it now, that we let others, or we put them on ourselves, these labels that don't necessarily fit, right? Or they don't fit forever. And I think that's something that I've learned, and it's been really instrumental in how I've lived now.
And reading like these books, they're fascinating, and the storyline is really intriguing too. It truly is great for anybody ages 8 to 12 or me. I like them too. But are these stories based on your childhood at all, or any of your experiences, your friends' experiences?
Yes, I would say highly. I mean, Helicity is essentially me, the young girl who's in love with weather. She has a lot more opportunity to get into weather, and she has the worst luck ever because weather finds her instead of her finding weather. That's why it is chasing Helicity. But I'd say all of the storms that I talk about are either storm chases that I've actually been on or ones that I can through history, imagine what they would have been like. And so it's been a really fun exercise, and not just saying, okay, here's what I've done, but also saying, here's how it might appear to somebody who isn't as in tune with weather as I am, but wants to learn about it. And it's been a really cool process. Also learning like the tween language and figure
gosh.
how they
Totally
communicate.
awesome.
Yeah, that's actually the most challenging part, I'll be honest. The science stuff is easy. The storyline, plot, all that stuff seems really fun. I get help from this woman, Jennifer, and she is like truly, and Stephanie, actually. Stephanie's the number one. She is such a great writer for this age. So she has been instrumental in making this not suck for them.
Oh, that's awesome. And then you have natural disaster too, which is so honestly real and relatable to everyone. What is your, once the trilogy is released, what are, anything else that you have planned when it comes to book writing or anything else?
Yeah, I'm actually about 3/4 of the way through writing my follow-up to Natural Disaster. So Natural Disaster was in the story that I just told you, when they said, okay, go write a couple of chapters and try it. When I came back, they said, okay, so what did you base this story on? And I said, well, that was my storm chase when I was in blah, 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 right? And so I'm explaining to them Katrina, for example. And they were like, wow, that's quite a story. And then I said, and then this one is from this storm chase. And I'm explaining. And all of a sudden, I started talking about personal things. And I started talking about a marriage that never happened, that I was basically a runaway bride. And then they were like, whoa, that is that's a book.
I gotta get this. I want to read that part even more.
Right. So the funny part is I went in to write a baby book about science, and I came out writing a memoir about depression. It was like, what just happened? And that book actually came out first. And then the response to Natural Disaster has and still is so surreal, because it's not about book selling. And my agent even told me, he's like, books are not for money. They are for you to express yourself and for people to get to know you. The number of people that I've gotten to know and that I've gotten to help because of Natural Disaster, because it is so transparent in my mental health battle that I've had my whole life, has been really special. And I think we're at a place in our society where, we're talking about it, right? Like most places, the stigma is at least dented, if not over. Now it's about taking action. And I think this book, because I talked about taking myself to the hospital, checking myself into inpatient, that's what changed. And that's what made a real ripple in what's a huge pond that needs to be, taken in by all of us. And so I think the next book that I'm writing goes even deeper. Natural Disaster was my story light. It was raked over by 8 lawyers. There's a lot of names changed and people, because you can't do, I learned that too. Apparently you can't talk about ex-boyfriends if they're not dead.
They could be.
Yeah. Italians.
Wow.
With this next book, I learned so much about other people, and I'm going to try to include all of the rest of the therapy that I've, really. So here's the really bottom line of it. I realized that as a meteorologist, I know I am a good meteorologist. I don't think I'm the best meteorologist in the world. I think I'm really good at communicating the great meteorology that's out there. I think the science that's out there, I have a skill of communicating that. What I realized is I also have a skill of communicating psychology. Like the therapy that I've gotten over this last 8 years, I've been able to use those same skill sets to now tell other people how to interpret what my therapist, who I would say is very nerdy and very scientific, I can take what he says and then apply it to life. And so that's what this book is about. It's taking a deeper look into my story, the big stories that I actually skipped over, whether it was for legal reasons or because I wasn't ready, and diving in deeper and then allowing other people to tell their stories through me as well. And so it's going to be, it's a lot more work, this second book. It's not coming to me as easily as the first one because I have such high hopes for it. But it's really exciting to be able to watch the impact that it might be able to have, because I'm still getting once a week, I'm not even exaggerating, that's like an average at this point. I'm still getting once a week somebody who says you saved my life, which is a huge responsibility. Yeah, they said, I went to the hospital because of you. And I'm like, whoa, okay, good. But yeah, so that's the hope in the next one.
Oh, I love
that teacher that said you couldn't write, have you sent any of your books back?
Send them a signed
No,
copy.
I just sent the New York Times bestseller list.
There you go.
So Ginger, when you're gearing up to write a book, like how do you prepare? Do you kind of outline the whole thing? Do you just sit down and start writing? Do you just have topics in your head and I'm going to hit that, right?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that because I as a non-author, I would still not call myself a real author. I've now interviewed, because of GMA, I've had these awesome opportunities of interviewing some of the best authors of our time. Diana Gabaldon, who wrote Outlander, who is now on her 10th book, who also, by the way, was a PhD scientist working on lab textbooks in Arizona, and just said to herself at the age of 42, you know what? I think I should be a novel writer. She sat down to practice quotes, and she came away with what has now changed the world, the book Outlander. And so I learned from her that her process of writing is probably the most creative and exciting. It's like a kaleidoscope. She has all of these ideas and scenes, and she writes them based on visualizations like, oh, the light hit this cup in just the right way, and I knew it was a winter light. And she can really express herself in these really cool, creative ways. That's not me. When I sit down, I have a story that I remember that I've either told many times, and that helps me get to the point of whatever the point is. And yes, that part is slightly outlined, what I want to get across. But no, I'd say I'm pretty chaotic. And even if it starts chronological, it starts turning around. And by the end, I don't even know how I got the book out, but it's exciting.
That's very exciting. I'll tell you what's also exciting is I think I've found the last daily weather app that you're ever going to need. The one thing when I'm looking to see what's going on for the day and I'm pulling up my phone, the last thing I want to do is have to scroll down, click more links just to find what's going on hourly. When is the rain going to start? How much snow we're going to get? Things of that point. And so what I love about this is the Atmosphere Weather app, 7 days of hourly weather temps, cloud cover, and precipitation are all rendered around a clock with your radar right in the center. It can even integrate your calendar that you have on your phone to see what to wear when your kid's soccer game is coming up later in the day, because your calendar will show right there on the 24-hour clock. So the Atmosphere Weather app, it's on Apple and Android, not only for the U.S., but for the UK and Canada as well. There's a free version where you can get up to 3 days of the weather forecast, but for just $3.99 a year, a subscription will get you 7 days of weather forecasts and hourly weather. No banner ads, get you that radar map in the middle and a lot more. So I'm telling you guys, you got to see this to believe it. You got to go to atmosphereweather.com to find out more. So I don't know about you guys. I got to go get another drink. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Ginger and play her lightning round. Stay tuned. Okay.
That went quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Any questions for anybody?
Yeah, what was the name of that bourbon again that you were talking about?
That was Uncle Nearest. It's and the 1865. So the story really quickly is Jack Daniels didn't really make Jack Daniels, his slave did. And so there was kind of a rumor about this, and this woman dedicated her life to proving the history. not only did she prove it, she made Jack Daniels, the company, change their museum because it's true. And so they changed their museum, and then she went to his descendants and said, you know, what would make this right? And they said his name on a bottle. And his name was Nearest Green, but they called him Uncle Nearest. And she went and this is a woman who was like a filmmaker from LA. She moved to Lynchburg, Tennessee, changed her whole life, and has become this. It's so fascinating. You have to read about it. It's I read about it randomly on the Amtrak, and it's a really nice whiskey. It's a really, really good whiskey.
Where do you get it, Ginger? Is it in stores or?
Yeah, it's in some stores, and you can order it online. It was funny because when I went to buy it, I bought all of our executives and Robin Roberts and Michael and everybody. I'm like, you guys need to know this story. It's wild. And she's also, by the way, it has won like tons of awards the last 2 years. That's how good it is, you know. And it's like it's a decent price point, but it's nothing more than the ones that we all drink. So she and I actually have been trying to get her on our shows because I'm like, guys, I can't like think about the storytelling we could do here. So I think actually going to be on Sarah and Kiki, our other hour. Next week. And she's also the first African-American woman to ever own a spirits company.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, you got to have a
cool.
show. That's,
we got to bring
on.
Yeah.
That's
We
awesome.
might have to try some of this bourbon in our 100th episode.
Why? You know what? I agree.
Great idea.
We'll look for it.
Yeah.
Sure, we could get it
We'll
there.
go look for it.
Get it before you get into the
We'll,
bar. I'm just saying.
All right, so let's quick shout out some of the folks watching. Richard's on, Timothy's on, Christine from Germany is on.
Oh, Christine,
got
hi.
some of
Was
the
ist
regulars
los?
on here. So. All right, so here's what we'll do. We'll come back. I'll just start off with a quick question for Ginger. You guys can keep chiming in from there, and then about 10 minutes into it or so, I'll jump in. You'll hear the thunder for the lightning round. We'll play the lightning round. When we're done with the lightning round, Ginger, I'll just ask you, your social media accounts, your bank accounts.
We got to talk about the Weather Hall of Fame too. I've been dying to talk about that.
Okay. Well, I'll ask my question, and then Brady, you can jump in with that one. Okay. All right, everybody good? Ginger, you good?
Set.
I can't see you nod, so that's the only challenge. I just kind of have to. It's kind of hard, guys.
My arms crossed right there. That means nodding.
Okay. It's hard. This shows you how much body language is communication.
Yeah.
Wait, she just stuck out her tongue. I saw her.
All right, so here we go. We are. Thanks, Mans. We're coming back. 3, 2. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'll tell you what, we're celebrating Women in Science Day with ABC News Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z. And Ginger, here's the thing. Holy blank. You've done a lot. You are spinning tons of plates. And from the outside world, they look like you're spinning them successfully. I know sometimes that's not always the case inside, but as far as the outside world can tell. But the point is you just got a ton of stuff. I see you doing the Heroes series, the dances thing, the books. I see you traveling. And obviously for ABC News, you're not just doing weather. You're doing human interest stories. I see you traveling there. So my question is, what at this point and at this stage in your life, you talked a little bit about your upcoming book, but what are you really like looking forward to, or what's still on that bucket list that you want to be checking off and that motivates you and you're passionate about?
A nap.
Yeah. I love those naps, that's for sure. I think as it's funny because you say that, and I was just thinking about this when I meditate every morning on my way to work, and I was thinking about, do I need to streamline a little bit? Do I need to focus? And if I were to do that, what would it be on? And what do I really care about? What am I really passionate about? My husband would tell you, because I'm a pain in the butt to go to like the grocery store with, food and where it comes from and how it's influenced by our weather and our climate is probably my biggest passion. And it's probably because I have 2 young children. And since they were born, I've been really into what that means for us and for them, more so than any other time in my life. And I also, because I have the background, I grew up on a small farm. I understand composting and the most easy parts of life. I started pitching these stories to ABC News like 5 years ago, as simple as a beach cleanup with the company 4Ocean, just being environmentally sound, basically, and especially when it comes to agriculture and how I eat. And so it's funny because now the research is back. And for the first time, our viewers are saying, we want stories about the environment and climate. And isn't that fascinating? Like now, finally, that thing that I've been so into and has been, it's not that people don't want to know, but it's maybe not as sexy. We are actually making a huge push this year to talk about our planet as it is. We don't have to talk about change of any sort except the change that we as humans have done to our planet. And that's what my focus is like, let's talk about it. When I did the series Food Forecast, that was exactly my 2 favorite things married together. It was, how is our food made? What has our climate done, or how has it changed? I was talking to like 5th generation sugarers in Vermont that were making maple syrup, and talking about the difference in the changes over their great grandfathers, maple syrup tapping and how that went for them. And they had all of this beautiful data set, as far as weather goes, in their books. And I was able to look back. That type of storytelling through our food and through the things that we love, that's what I'd like to do in the future. So that's what I'm going to pour a lot of my efforts into. At ABC News, we're really going to not only tell those stories, but we're going to hopefully be creating a whole climate and weather unit and streamline everything where we can really start to lead in that way. I'm going to Victoria Falls, Africa, in a week and a half. So I will be there to tell the story of a lot of the villages that have had some huge water issues. And of course, it cannot be directly related to a scientific proven climate change, but I don't care what it's related to. There's a huge population increase. We have to talk about that. There is a huge way of monoculture that has bastardized soil. We have to talk about that. There are some of these villages that have done spectacular work in getting themselves out of poverty and into survival by creating these beautiful gardens of biodiversity. We have to talk about that. And those are the things I'm going to be able to go and start telling stories about within the next 2 weeks. So that's what I'm really excited about coming up.
That's interesting because I've talked to some friends of mine who are teachers, and we always talk about how healthy is organic food. Mm-hmm. And how healthy is some of the food we're giving our kids. And my friend who's a teacher, she's totally convinced that some of the chemicals and things that we put in our foods is changing the way kids are behaving and what goes on in their brain and their brain function. And she says she sees it every day teaching these kids just because they're middle schoolers. And you try as a mom to give them good food, cook them the right food, give them organic, but you don't know what's happening with it. Is it really healthy? I don't know. That'll be an interesting story.
Unless you're the one that's growing it, the one that's growing it, and you can control your soil, which is already difficult, and you can control the pollen, and you can control where the bees went and got, the Roundup at the neighbor's yard. There's a lot of variables that you can't control. And that's something that I learned doing food forecasts. I did one on bees and the almond groves, and just thinking about how if something says organic honey, it actually just can't be true because you're not going to put a little tag on each bee and say you didn't go get pollen from something that, so there's a lot of questions. But I think what I try to do, because otherwise, if I did that, we would never eat anything and we would all just be starving if I limited everything. So I'm going to try to do my absolute best with what we have. I ask a lot of questions. I do shop at Whole Foods because I'm fortunate to have the ability to spend money to do so. But that would be, if I ever got to the point where I had this surplus, that would be the next thing I would do. I would go and try to take food and the health of food and nutrition into places that don't have it. And that's another thing that I'm super passionate about and excited about, is that there's so much work that could be done. And these Senegal in Africa is another place that has done it's amazing what they've done. They've basically returned to nature And that's how they've now survived. And so utilizing those stories to tell them, or like the cattle rancher that I spoke to in Texas, I got there, he has the 2 guns in his pockets. He gets off his horse and he's like, we got to take care of this planet. And I was like, I'm sorry. Hi. And he was a grass-fed, grass-finished. And he said economically and environmentally, when he kept his grass-fed, grass-finished, he was one of the only cattle ranchers in the entire plains that made it through the 2010-2011 drought. And so those stories, and then he was going around, the story that I told was him going around doing basically what's like a soil sermon, telling people that they needed to get back to basics. And so being able to showcase these people that have real data behind them, and money, drives it all. And at the end of it, he was making more money. And like that was a really well told story by him. I didn't really even have to tell the story. He got off a horse, told me, take care of the planet and make money. And I was like, okay, this is good.
Especially if he has guns. If he's got guns, I'm doing whatever he says.
So Ginger, on top of all that, right, I think, are you going to be inducted into the Weather Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Talk to us about that process.
So cool,
and I mean, there was only 3 people inducted last year, so it's a huge deal. So I'm curious, like, how did that come about and what does that mean? And congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. They wrote me, they said, congratulations, you are being inducted into the Weather Hall of Fame. And I can't tell you the last time I had butterflies in my stomach, even since maybe the first time at Dancing with the Stars, because I was uncomfortable. But really, I had butterflies in my stomach because it was, when you love weather this much since you're 9 years old, and then somebody says you're going to be put into a Hall of Fame, no matter what that means, I haven't been more excited for something in a very long time. I started researching flights thinking, I'm going to take my whole team. I'm going to take all the weather team there.
Oh, that's nice.
But there's no directs to Oklahoma City, so that's not going to happen anymore. But that just gives you the level of how honored I am, and what a wonderful museum and everything they're trying to do there. And they're really pushing, women in science. And that's something that this episode is about. And I can't leave by the wayside. I really find a great responsibility in having the platform that ABC News has given me in being a chief meteorologist as a woman at a network, being a meteorologist at a network. These are really kind of unknown things in the past. I'm fortunately fighting through these, I wouldn't call it glass ceiling, because I don't know that it's that, but it's new, it's different, and I'm starting things that they've never seen before. And there's a lot of challenges, but I take such huge responsibility knowing that this is just the beginning. And there are going to be so many women and men that come up with me, behind me, that are going to make this science even stronger. And it pumps me up every time thinking that I can be a part of this.
I love it, Ginger. Ginger, the fact that you've accomplished so much already in your career and you're just beginning is almost scary in a way, because I know like you are going to accomplish so much more and change the world and universe even more with everything that you do, which I think is so amazing. And as like a mom with a little 2-year-old, like everything you talk about with food and stuff, I'm always so, paranoid about what goes into her mouth, all that food and everything. So I think it's so fascinating. And with Women in Science Day just right around the corner, do you have any plans? What are you going to do to celebrate?
Yeah, I think that's the beauty is on my team, we've got just the women that we've got, but I think beyond that, even in, we recently had a weather summit of all the ABC, not all, but some of the ABC owned and operated meteorologists coming together. And the numbers are up, but they're still very low. And it is far from half. We'll say that. So I think there's a minute celebration of, okay, we've done it, we're here. But I think it's more dedication to how do we get that next level of, and I see it in young girls. And it's funny because now I have 2 little boys, and I don't think I'm going to have to encourage them or discourage them any differently, right? It's not like you do that with kids, but how am I going to get to those kids who are in need of that? I was so fortunate. I had a mom who she's a neonatal nurse practitioner. So it's a different type of science, but she was such a dreamer. I mean, she never once said, you can't do something. Even if we didn't have the ability to, my mom will make things happen. And I'm lucky I had her. So how do I become that for these other kids? And I think going to schools is what I'll do. Like on the actual day, I'll certainly find myself in front of a bunch of young people. That will make me feel pretty complete for the day. Because I think even if it's 30 kids or it's 150 kids, those all start to talk to other kids, right? And then you have a conversation with their parents and maybe their cousins. And like just that grassroots thing has worked for me since day one. When I was in Flint, Michigan, starting my career, I just said, I have to get out there because first of all, I'm depressed. I'm in Flint, Michigan, and I'm like starting my career and I make $12 total for the whole week or something. I don't even know what it was, but it helped me to feel purpose, to go and see these people and especially kids in schools and then get them excited because that one or two, and especially when it was a young girl, looking at me and raising her hand and getting excited about what I was talking about, I was like, that's all I need. And that's all I need.
And Ginger, keep it up because, I'll say as a recent graduate, it was about equal in our class between guys and girls. So amazing. It's come a long way and it's pretty cool to see. It really is. So keep up the good work.
And that's a good thing to hear because it takes time to get everybody else up to speed, right?
Sounds like a plan. Hey, that was the sound. It is time for our lightning round. So this is our game show of flashy and brilliant questions for our guests. We always invite everybody to go ahead and play along as well. Tonight, we're going to play a little take on Family Feud. So a little take on Family Feud. We're going to play it a little bit differently, but as Ginger just talked about, she's got a couple little boys, and so we're going to find out how much Ginger knows about some of the more recent animated movies. And so I've got a list of the top 10 highest grossing animated. This also includes computer animation, but top 10 highest grossing animated films of all time. I'll give you a little bit of a hint that obviously the higher grossing movies tend to be some of the most recent ones because of inflation and everything else. So these are fairly recent.
Naturally.
But what I'm going to do is this. I'm because Ginger's our guest. She is going to get first pick to try and think of as many of those 10 that she can. We're going to give her 3 strikes. Once she gets to her third strike, if she gets there, I'm going to turn it over to the freaks, to our co-hosts, and if they can come up with one of the remaining movies, the freaks win it. But if they can't come up with any of the remaining movies, it goes back to Ginger and she wins it all.
Hey Phil, I heard that
sense?
every one that Ginger gets right, she's going to sing the theme song to that movie. Right?
I agree.
No, she's going to dance it, and that's why we can't see her.
Though. Yeah.
Right.
Wait,
All right,
can I ask
so-
a quick, details question? Wait,
Yes.
It's animated but not like would the recent Lion King count as animated or is that cinematic? Or
I would say that's animated just because it's all computer graphics.
Okay,
Now some of the
like a
scenery
Pixar?
might not be, but all the characters are for the most
Thank you,
part.
that's helpful.
Right? So I would say that's probably what they
She's
say.
taking this
CGI.
seriously.
All right.
No, seriously.
Any other questions, Ginger? Are you ready?
No, I think it's good.
All right, so let's do this. Top 10. What's your first?
Wally.
Wally.
Oh, good guess.
It's got to be on.
Not on there.
Wally.
Seriously?
I thought
Wally's-
that was one of the number
Ginger,
one-
do you know what year that came out?
No, I don't. But I remember. I thought I was really coming in with something smart there because I just saw it and I read something about it that it was like a giant box office hit. Never
It
mind.
was.
Yeah.
It was in 1987 when it came out. I think.
1987.
That
did not come out. in- What?
I don't know when it came
Busy.
out. Okay, that's one strike. You still
The
got
last
10 on the
one I
board.
saw. Okay, fine. Oh goodness.
They're all going to be pretty recent. I'll give you a hint. The oldest one is 2013.
Oh geez.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay,
Jeez.
that's helpful. Fine. The Lion King then.
You're going to say The Lion King? That was
Oh,
number
yay.
1.
Good job.
Number
Sing
one.
it.
The
Sing it. Come on.
2019 Lion King, the CGI version.
I can't believe that's number 1.
Good
Yeah.
job.
Wow, that's pretty
Makes a lot
good.
of
Okay, number 1's off the board, Ginger. What's next?
All right. Oh gosh, this is so hard. Finding Dory. No, not
Find-
Finding Dory. Finding Nemo. I mean Nemo.
Finding Nemo. What year did Finding Nemo come out?
Oh,
That's not
Before
part
Dory.
of the game.
I'll give you a hint. It was before
no, but it's not
2002.
2013. I get it.
So go back to your other one.
Okay, go back to my other one.
Finding
Finding Dory.
Finding
Good
Dory.
job.
Correct.
Finding Dory better than Finding Nemo. That doesn't.
That was number 9. Finding
with your
Dory
gut.
2016
That's
was number 9. All right, one strike. Keep going.
What do my kids like? Is there like a Minions or a Pixar one?
Oh, yeah.
You said Minions. I'm going to give you
job.
Minions.
Nice.
Great.
2015 Minions was number 5. So number 1, 5, and 9 are off the board.
Okay.
What just came out? Oh, Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was number 6. And
Okay.
and I got to go back on my answer. The oldest one is 2010. Sorry.
All right.
I just saw one that's 2010.
So is Toy Story 3 in there?
That was 2010.
Okay.
That's good. All right, you got what do you got? 3, 5 off the board. You got 5 left.
Frozen.
Frozen.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That was
Dang
number
it.
3.
Sing it. Sing Frozen.
Yeah. Do you want to build a
Ooh,
snowman?
she's starting at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you come out and play?
Yes, Brady.
In there.
Woodford.
All right, so you got 6. You got here's what you got left: number 2, number 4, number 8, and number 10, and only one
Frozen
strike.
2.
Frozen 2. That was number 2.
Okay.
Very good.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And then it has to go. Boy, this is where it's gonna get tough.
Now we can't watch you. You better not be googling this.
I'm not. I'm not.
Ah.
I'm sitting and staring.
Okay.
Okay.
This is hard.
Two are Disney,
Yes, and mostly these are all been
and
Disney.
one is not.
is not.
Is
So
not
is
a
it like
Disney.
Secret Life of Pets or something?
It's not real secret. You kind of led to it earlier. You just kind of mentioned it.
Baby
but-
Boss. Boss
what?
Baby.
Boss
Boss
Baby.
Baby.
That is incorrect.
Oh.
That's 2 strikes.
Oh.
You got this,
Okay.
Ginger. You got this.
I do.
2.
Why am I
Remember,
not
2 are,
thinking?
2 are Disney
I
Pixar.
know, they're hard now.
Does one start with a B?
I'm not telling you because you might still steal. Get out of here.
Come on.
I like
Dan.
this. I like this. Phone a friend.
This is Family Feud. We don't have that.
All right. I'm getting serious here. Let me think. Because what rides do I go on? What? Those aren't animated. It's all Disney for sure.
So
Oh,
again,
you
2 are
got that
Disney,
out.
1 is not, and 2 are sequels of the
2 are
3 left.
sequels.
Yes.
Oh.
There are no more animated sequels except Frozen 2. That was the first animated Frozen. Wait, that was the first animated sequel.
This is tough, Phil.
No, it's
I
not.
know.
No,
We've got
Very
all the
difficult.
major ones.
Is it?
It might have been the first animated sequel to beat its predecessor, because Frozen 2 was number 2 on the list. Frozen was 3rd,
Right.
so it made more than Frozen.
It made more than.
So does one
Yeah, but
start
that's
with a
not
B?
true. That's not true either, because these sequels beat their other ones back when they came out. So
What? So Toy Story 2?
I know. Does one
Right.
start with a B, Phil? Can you say does one start with a B?
shut up, shut up, Ginger. You got 1 shot.
No, you guys help. You go for it.
All right, so we're going to turn it over to the Freaks. The Freaks, you've got, so here's what's off the board. The Lion King 2019, Frozen 2, Frozen, Minions, Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 3, and Finding Dory. We still have movie number 4, 8, and 10 on the board.
Okay.
Talk amongst
the-
yourselves quickly
What
and
about
come up
the
with
one like Rapunzel.
What about Brave?
What
What's
about the
the-
animals? Remember the
what about
animals?
the
What about
skeleton
animals
one? What was the skeleton one?
Tangled.
Tangled.
Tangled? They were
What about,
skeletons?
what about the
That's
animals?
Rapunzel.
Remember the animals one that everyone watched? It was like with all those animals.
Oh, zoo.
All right, I need an answer, Freaks.
Zoo
I need
something.
an answer.
Zootopia.
Zootopia.
Brady's going to be our final answer. I need one.
Do it, Brady.
Zootopia.
Zootopia?
Yeah.
That was number 10.
Yeah.
It was number
Job.
10. Ginger, I'm sorry.
Where's Tango?
That's kind. Tango is not on the. Tango is like 1986, I think.
Not 1986.
That was a back.
No, that was-
one of you was thinking Coco, but that wasn't on there.
Oh.
So here's
Oh,
number
yeah.
4, Incredibles 2.
Incredible.
Oh, right.
And
I
number
love that.
8, and this 8 was the one, Ginger, you were kind of referencing a little bit because it had Minions in it. Despicable Me 3.
Oh, there you go.
Right. Good.
Despicable
The
Me.
prize was Uncle Nearest. Sorry you didn't win tonight.
I was thinking Brave, guys. That's what I was thinking.
So
would be.
Ginger, great
And I
job.
work for Disney, so I only know the Disney, so I'm sorry.
Great job. All right, so Ginger, do us a favor. Tell us how our listeners can find you on social media, and also a little bit about when your book's coming out and where we can find that.
Sure. I am Ginger_Z, because I don't know who has that other one, on both Instagram and Twitter. And then Facebook is Ginger Z TV. And I haven't gotten TikTok yet, so we'll just leave it at that.
Mhm.
And then my book is April 21st, and that will be the third in the Helicity, which obviously is a weather term series. And you can find them all on Amazon, Natural Disasters on Amazon too.
When's Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame is March 13th. Just got the date confirmed.
Oh, we're missing it by a
Awesome.
week, guys.
Oh, we are. That's too bad.
Right when you said March 6th and the special beer, I thought, oh no, I'm missing it.
Well,
You
hey,
can come
maybe
in
they'll
early.
still have it. Maybe they'll still have it, so you can head up there.
There you go.
Head up there
Just
while
come
you're
a week
visiting.
early. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, Ginger, we appreciate you having on. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, you don't want to miss our hashtag Weather Fools and WX resources. All right,
Nice.
Ginger,
Thanks,
thank you.
Ginger.
Good job, Ginger.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Ginger.
Ginger, thank you so much.
Yes. And you know what, Ginger, too? It was funny. I turned on one of my other favorite shows and you were on it. Flea Market Flip.
Yes.
How,
So
how much fun was
Although-
that? I didn't get a chance to ask you. How much
I'm
fun was
telling you
that?
right now, though, Rob rigged that, and he got that woman to play with him instead of his wife, and that woman was like an expert flea marketer. So
Was-
I'm
oh,
just
I-
not even.
I just thought that had to be so much fun. I enjoyed watching it with you and your husband, and it looked
Yeah.
fun.
We had fun. Didn't matter. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, well, let's let Ginger
Awesome.
get to bed. Ginger, thank you so much.
Thanks,
We will
guys.
post the
Thank
audio
you.
podcast Sunday. I'll throw it on Twitter or whatever, but I can always email you a link to if you care. But you're on so much shit right now. I don't blame you if that's enough.
When did you have your baby?
So he turns 2 this Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's when we
already?
had her
happy
on last.
birthday.
She
Wow.
was, if you recall.
And I'm not going to be here because I'm going to be at the Oscars, which I feel horrible about. But it is, it's my first Oscars, and I'm going to try to make it up to him the next weekend.
Congratulations on your Oscar, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's awesome. That's so
Good.
awesome.
All right. Thank you, Ginger. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
You too.
Bye.
Keep inspiring people.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Awesome.
She's fun.
She is.
Yeah.
God, I could have talked to her for like 3 more hours.
I know.
Well, here's your cell number.
How does she even sleep? That's what I don't understand. I mean, there's just so many things that,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
how
when
they do
you
it.
threw out the flea market thing, Dina, I'm like, oh my God, there's something else she was on.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
not gonna
like,
go. I'm not gonna go to sleep tonight.
I
I'm just gonna
always
go do
ask-
stuff.
You know, I like to ask women too, like how they balance everything because she gets up early like me,
Mhm.
and there's just days where I'm dragging ass so bad. All I want to do is take a nap. I can't imagine like being on my regular job. I have 2 boys too. Let's write a couple books. Let's be on a couple different shows. Let's practice Dancing with the Stars. Like how the hell she's
Yeah.
a fembot?
Mhm.
It's got to be
She
like
is.
how do you get all
Crazy.
this done? I don't know
Yeah.
how you do it.
That's
All
It's
right.
awesome.
Well, we'll keep rolling. So let's everybody that's doing Weather Fools or needs to share a screen. Figure that I see Dina's already sharing hers.
Yeah.
So we got that part covered.
Let me share my
Share
screen
mine. How do I
too.
turn that off?
Woo.
Ooh, don't want to do that.
Disconnect all.
Yeah, I've got Weather Fools as well, Phil.
Yeah,
I have
I've
a
got.
Weather
There we go.
Fools.
Okay. So anyway, Weather Fools. So Brady, you are introducing Weather Fools.
All right.
Obviously, you don't read the agenda either. So
No, I've
I'm
got
just
the
gonna
agenda
save
right.
myself
I've got the
time
agenda
and-
right
No.
here. I was just letting everyone else know that I had.
I had forgotten. It was a busy week.
So we got
All right.
Dina. Who
That's
else has got a
true.
weather
Happy
fool?
birthday.
I do.
I've got
two.
4.
And
Did you guys see it? Am I
four?
sharing right now? Am I sharing?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep. Jen, I see yours.
Okay. And then
So you
you
said you
see
had-
this one. With the glass doors coming
Yep.
in.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
we see it.
Oh.
So I stop sharing. And then we're good. Oh,
Oh,
wow,
whoops.
that's fun.
Cut Maz off. What happened there?
Okay.
No,
Where
I'm
did
there.
your? Oh, you stop. Jen, you can keep sharing. You don't
Yep.
have to stop sharing
Yeah,
your
this new
screen.
thing you can keep sharing all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
just
it's Phil,
keep-
it's Phil, right?
And
that-
I can pull it up as we talk about it. But if it's not there, then we have to wait for you to click and add and all that stuff. So just share it and keep sharing it
Okay. Well done.
until we're all done.
All right, so I have Dina, Jen, Phil, myself, Maz. Do you have one?
No, that's enough. You don't need me tonight.
It's enough. Did you say you
Phil's
have
got like
4,
15.
Phil?
Got 4. Yeah, I'll
You have
breeze
4?
through them
Okay.
real fast.
All right.
I'll just click down the row when we're
I'll
ready.
save mine.
All right.
Hold on here, banners. Okay, and then Dina, you're introducing WX resources.
Yep. Who's got one?
I do.
Phil? Anybody else? All right, just me and Phil.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll do that, and then I'm going to close it out of that. We don't have MJ here, so we're not going to do our freak fan box. We'll save that for
Oh,
next episode. We got a bunch too. We're getting a lot of those now,
Good,
reviews and all that good stuff. Yeah,
they're not like summonses or anything, are they?
not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen any of those yet, anyway, so we
Okay.
should be good. All right, so are we ready? Oh, and by the way, don't forget when we're all done, tell them episode 9, the links or whatever will be on episode 98 show notes on the website or on
98.
your app.
Gosh, 98.
I know.
Are we gonna have a cake for our 100th? We have to have like a big birthday cake.
Yeah.
We should have a
I'm not
cake.
doing
it.
A tornado
We need
cake.
the new beer and we need the cake.
Oh my gosh, we should find someone in the weather community that knows how to make weather cakes. There's got to be someone, right?
Oh no, they've been
It's
there's
got to be
photos
there because
everywhere.
I'm not bringing
You're
it.
right.
Yeah,
On the
yeah.
plane. No,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
okay.
It's
There's
the overhead.
security.
Just check it, Phil. Just check it.
No, we could totally. I'll look into the cakes
Oh, good job. Good job.
because
We'll
I've
have
seen
a
GR
van.
level 3 cakes before, like 3D. It's
Oh, neat.
possible.
So everybody in the
Really
bar
cool.
gets a piece, right?
We'll try.
Well, we get the piece first, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
free for all.
They
get
Come
slivers.
on.
Yeah.
Cake.
Get
We really need a
slivers.
cake.
yeah.
You guys really want a cake?
It could be fun.
All right.
It could be.
Yeah.
Everyone would come over and be like, "What is
Cool.
this? What's going on here?" Be like,
Get a
"Okay."
cake and
But it's got to be a
you
cool cake. It's got
Well,
to be
Jennifer,
like
if Jen, if you're gonna look into it, then let me know because we can cover it with the budget.
Yeah, but then we
Okay.
can't have an intern after.
Can we just let's just get a cake of Phil? Can we just get a life-size Phil cake? That'd be
yeah.
I'll take on the plane.
That would be awesome.
Phil cake.
That'd
All right,
be
so
awesome.
we'll get going. So I will Brady, and Brady, you might not know this because you probably don't listen to us when you're not on the show.
I do.
No, you don't. Okay, so then what's our intro now to Weather Fools?
I don't know that.
Wait, I don't even think I know what that is. What do you mean? Let's start.
Okay.
All right, so
I got
what I'll do is when I count in, I'll do a little applause and I'll start that song,
Forgot.
and after it says we don't get fooled again, I'll then go ahead and start and
All
do
right.
the intro on what hashtag Weather Fools is,
Okay.
and we'll get going from there.
No yawning, Dina.
I'm sorry.
Wow. Okay.
I
Are you
get
working
up
tomorrow,
early.
Dina?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's. This is a good night for you. Then we're going to be done by
Yeah, I know. I love the
There you
early
go.
shows.
Actually, I like them too.
here.
Sorry.
Don't get used to it. Coming in, we are coming into Brady in 3, 2.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's time for hashtag WeatherFools. What is WeatherFools? Guess what? WeatherFools is us as the freaks. We're going out on Twitter. We're going out on Facebook. We're going out on wherever we can find. We're going out on the guy on the street and videoing him falling down after some freezing rain. We're just looking for guys that did something stupid, silly, funny. That's what it really is about. It's got to be funny. The freaks are looking for people, and it's got to relate to weather as well. So I know we got Dina.
Wait, that intro was longer than the whole segment.
You know what? I gotta take my shots when I can get them. All right, man. Dina, you're up. Who's your weather for
You
tonight?
gave me a good segue because you were talking about like people who are doing stupid things. So this one was a black ice fail.
Whoa.
So, I love motorcycles too, but okay, you can see on this video, there's like a cam on the front of this motorcycle, and you could see the shiny part of the road, which is black ice.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things like, what are you doing?
Oh.
So he goes down,
man.
you can see him slide across, and then wait till he turns, and then boom, his buddy's behind him.
Oh my
His
God.
buddy's behind him hit too.
Wow.
Wow, all of them hit. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty safe to say that if it's freezing rain, snowing, or sleeting, or just cold in general, you shouldn't be out on your motorcycle. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
let's be honest. But
That's so
Forest East.
dangerous.
It was insane.
That'll set up one of my weather fools later. That's good.
Okay.
how
It's
long
funny.
ago was that, Dina? Was that recent?
What year does it say? 2019, December
Okay.
4th, 2019.
Couple months
Interesting.
ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
People
recent.
not learning. People not learning from the black ice.
No.
All right, Jen,
Oh my
I hear
God.
you have a weather fool. Let's see if you can top it.
Oh my God. Well, I've got two. So
Okay.
the first one, if you guys can see it. So this is crazy. And I don't know where this lady is from in her Twitter bio and everything. It's not showing where she is, but there's obviously this plane, it's flooded, and you can see like she's in the farmland, and this car is just like, meh, not a problem. And
Oh my
can
God.
And you can see how high the water is, and people don't realize that, even if it's not all the way up to like your car window, when you drive through water, even like a foot of water, all that water gets in your engine and can start destroying things. And you just don't want to do it. But this person did. I mean, they made it through, but you never know what kind of swift current there is that could
Yeah,
totally.
you can't even tell if that standing water could be moving. It's so big.
Where is this?
Yeah.
And it doesn't say, but she just posted it 7 hours ago. So there's been a lot of flooding recently across the southern states, and I mean even to the Ohio Valley and Mid Atlantic. So, but it's just so crazy. And then my other one was in New Orleans, and I believe this was yesterday. And this is just crazy. This was a thunderstorm, unless it's been a confirmed tornado, Dina, which you may know. I think it was just strong thunderstorm winds, but these people took shelter in this building, and this is a glass door, kind of the swivel door, and they literally break through with a huge gust of wind. They smash up against each other, and you can hear the wind.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really crazy. And so this one it's kind of a weather fool, but it's mainly to show you the power of even a severe thunderstorm. I mean, you need to get away from the windows, even if it's not a tornado, because with glass like that, a glass structure, I mean, you never know what could hit it or how strong the wind gusts could be that could break it.
Yeah, because you said that when I left, there wasn't any in New Orleans that were even reports, because they were all Mississippi, and then it started in Alabama when I left. So
yeah, but that is so crazy. You forget the power of wind, even if it's not a tornado sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Seriously. Weather is powerful, people. Keep that in mind.
weather.
All right, so I'll go next, since I know Phil has 4, so I know he probably wants to save the best for last, right? So some of you may have seen this, and this was on Twitter. Can you guys see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was by the sheriff in San Miguel, and I think that's somewhere out in Colorado, or that's somewhere out west. They tweeted, "Large boulder the size of a small boulder is completely blocking eastbound lane Highway 155." So they described a large boulder basically by describing it as the size of a small boulder, and it was memed everywhere, and it was viral. As you can tell, there's 238,000.
Yeah, it's funny.
Was it near Boulder?
Too. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
Boulder, Colorado.
And I'm not sure what they were trying to get at, but that's like the size of a small car, which is kind of scary at randomly falling.
I have a hard time believing they didn't know what they were doing by tweeting this, but because that's just too good to. I don't know. It's just too good to mess up.
Large boulder.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
their fingers typed so fast when they tweeted, they didn't really think about it.
Probably.
Not enough coffee or something.
Phil, let's get to you.
All right, I'm going to rattle off the 4 I got. We're going to go bam, bam, bam. The first is from the Dayton Daily News. If you recall, last May, Dayton, Ohio got a bunch of tornadoes, a lot of them overnight, dark. Anyway, this couple morons, 2 tornado contractors charged with theft.
What's a contractor, a tornado contractor?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Accused of not doing work. You got to ask the Dayton Daily News on that. But here's the thing. So 2 area contractors, one, and I'm going to give names, Robert Tracy Green, 53 at Dayton, charged with 20 felony and 2 misdemeanor counts of theft involving 10 victims, basically where he either completed partial work or did no work to repair the homes and still got paid to do it. Second one, very similar, Brandon Vallandingham of West. He is a Vallandingham.
No kidding.
Of West Carrollton, 8 felony theft charges, 4 victims. Same thing, Buckeye Storm Solutions. They charged money to do work that he never did. He just took the payments and never came back to do the work.
Well, so that's local, and I guess you wouldn't think people would even think of that.
Yeah. All right, so couple weather fools there. This is the Texas Monitor. Bloomington, which must be in Texas, Bloomington schools can't track the money it spent on Hurricane Harvey recovery. So the story here is the school has no documentation of what they did with the money that they received to build and enhance the damage that came from Hurricane Harvey. Roughly $11 million.
Oh,
and their the district's former financial director.
You said former, so where did this former guy
Misty
go?
Brosfield.
Misty Brosfield sounds like a porn name.
It does a little bit. She's and maybe she is now. Maybe that's what she's doing. But she was fired for misuse of the district credit card.
Huh.
But anyway, so they're having all kinds of trouble finding all that money they got. My third one, Florida man, perhaps unfamiliar with cold weather, sets house on fire to keep warm.
It's the Florida man.
Oh my God,
so this is the 66-year-old that allegedly set fire to a stack of paperwork in his apartment around 3 a.m. because he was cold, and burnt the apartment building down.
Wow.
So there you go. And then
issues.
The final one. This is on Twitter at BadJim007 of a bunch of bicycles zooming down a ski slope.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
And these are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people on bicycles that are just zooming down a ski slope that's slick. And everything looks good. All these people are just coming down, zooming down. And, of course, all it takes is one to go down.
Oh,
there we go.
No.
And one goes down, and what happens to everybody behind them?
I'm
Oh
surprised it
my
took that long.
There
Yeah,
are
I
parts
know.
flying.
I saw this. It seemed like there were
People
people just
flying.
coming from infinity. It was crazy.
It's crazy. The camera keeps panning up the slope,
Oh
and
my
there's
God.
just people wiping out left.
Oh
Yeah,
my
how do
Those
you
are-
can't
I don't
stop?
think if I handed a $10 bill, I'd get that many people to show up to one of my events. Just
Looks like a speed bump.
There's people, just getting run over. It's freaking hilarious. And then
Where's
the
this
top of
again?
the slope. Look at all these. I have no idea. There's no.
Somewhere. It's got to be Colorado.
There's no.
It looks
Gotta be
like a
Colorado.
real wide.
Oh, man.
Europe somewhere.
Well, remember,
But-
pot's legal there.
Look at people
So-
still falling. I mean,
Oh
there's
my
still
God.
people trying to get around, and they're just not able to do it because
And that's on snow, Phil, right?
That's
That
amazing.
looks icy
Oh
too.
my
See the
God.
shine?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
racing for a bag of Doritos at the bottom, too.
Do you
It's
imagine like the
hilarious.
last guy that went by that just missed it?
Oh,
And, like if you turn around, you're like, oh,
Man.
Oh,
I'll tell you what. That's
Dropped
why
it.
whenever you're in a group, see, like if you watch the Winter Olympics, what's that snowboard race where there's like 4 of them going together? You want to be in front because you don't want to be in the back because all it takes is one. And
all it takes is one.
they're
All right,
down,
that was pretty great, Phil. I think that might have topped it. To be honest, I liked everyone's weather fools, but I think that might have topped it. So for a list and links for all of our weather fools, either go on our website or go on your favorite podcast app. Check out the show notes section and look for episode 98. Phil, over to you. Or sorry, Dina. Going to Dina.
all right. Now this is the WX resource. And this is the part of the show where we kind of share all our cool weather apps or weather products or websites that we want to use. And I know Phil and I have one. I think Phil, since he just went, I'll go first and let
Go.
Phil go.
Yep.
But this one, this is somewhat new. It's from the Storm Prediction Center, and a lot of people go to that site already. But it's a prototype interactive local storm reports delay. And I was just kind of playing with this through today. And you put the dates in the top of like how far you want your storm reports to go. And it'll tell you at the top in these tabs, like how many they are. Like it's a severe 71, winter 974. And you can go through here and interact with them, and you can click on them. And it'll give you everything there. And I kind of like this. It's a prototype. It seems to be working pretty good. So you can kind of see like exactly where they are and read everything on it. And I am really liking this. And you can kind of click at the top too, whether it's like tornado or wind and hail or whatever you want to look. But it's a new one. It's a prototype. So check it out. It's this SPC for Storm Prediction Center.noaa.gov, and then it's /EXPER/reports. But we'll put it on the show notes.
Cool.
So, and Phil, you've got one, right?
I like that. Yeah, that was good. So mine's just a video. One of our past guests, Picos Hank Shima, does some great videos, but he put together his tornadoes of 2019 video. And I'll tell you what's cool about Hank's videos is it's not, there's Daniel Shaw from Australia. He was on our show as well. But what Hank does is he also tells stories. And so it's not just about the tornadoes, but it might be about his whole trip, like his whole summer. And he comes across lots of animals. He comes across, just lots of people and stories.
The snakes. The snake.
Yeah, yep, snake, all that stuff. But of course, and then mixed in are all these cool videos of tornadoes that he's seen and was a part of his travels. So this was his. So if you go to just go to YouTube and search Picos Hank, and you want to look at his tornadoes of 2019, the endless storm season. So
that's cool.
That is neat
stuff. Yep.
All right.
Cool.
So if you want to see any more of the WX resource, just check out our show notes, episode 98. We're not quite to 100 yet. 98 in the show notes.
I hope I make it to 100.
That was pretty awesome, man.
We'll make it.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right, well, folks, I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. We want to thank you for listening, watching, tuning in, however you did to catch Ginger and the rest of us. Before I get to who our next guest is going to be on the next show, I do want to remind everybody that if you love what you're hearing or watching, let us know about it and let us know what parts you like. You can contact us at questions@stormfrontfreaks.com if you want to send an email. Or you can also find us on Twitter. It's @stormfrontfreak without the S. You can also go to, we do a little Facebook. If you go to Stormfront Freaks on Facebook, you could check that out as well. But let us know. Let us know what you like. Or most of your podcast apps that you're listening to us on have a way to leave a review. And especially if you can write one. Let us know again what you like most. And a lot of times what we'll do is we'll share that on the next episode. We didn't do our Freak Fan Box tonight because MJ's not here, but we'll catch that next time. And we'll try and add your comments and reviews on that. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We love our subscribers who like listening in every episode. We do want to say special thanks to our guest tonight, Ginger Z. She's, as always, a lot of fun, so we appreciate that. In our next episode, we're going to be recording live, episode 99, right? Live on YouTube, Thursday, February 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Jen, Dino, you'll like this. We got former Weather Channel winter weather expert Tom Nizzle is coming back.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom.
And Tom is going to cover, we're celebrating, it's also it's the 150th birthday of the National Weather Service.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Was he there?
That was Tom's life.
Oh.
Just
That was
kidding.
Tom's-
Tell them you said
Tom's
that.
life before the Weather Channel is he was at the National Weather Service. So he's got some good stories to share about the history of the National Weather Service. So we're looking forward to having Tom back on in a couple weeks.
He's fun.
So
Yeah,
it's
he
a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So for Maz, Dina, Jen and Brady, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear. We'll catch you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Brady, no gang symbols. No gang symbols.
All right.
Brady, you're so awesome.
Peace symbol.
Oh,
Brady,
peace.
did you actually pour a real drink?
I
Oh
forgot
yeah,
to
I
do
did.
that.
I thought I saw you pour a real
I
drink.
got the bottle right here, Woodford Reserve.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good
It's my
stuff.
brother's. It's not mine.
Yep.
Brady, where are you right now? Like,
I'm in Columbus. I just moved into a new apartment, so I'm there.
Oh,
Very
nice.
nice.
Where
With your
where
brother?
are you at?
The funny thing is, we actually live on the same floor. So he actually lives down the hall with his wife. His wife wasn't very thrilled about that, but
So it's a
I
little-
convinced her.
Hey, do you got some of that reserve I can take on the show tonight?
I did. Yeah, well, I was getting these headphones because I didn't have any iPhone headphones. So and then he was like, "Oh, you want some?" I was like, "Sure, why not?"
oh, that's awesome. Very, very cool.
Cool.
How are you
I
guys?
do miss Columbus. I miss Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus is fun. Are you?
How's,
is anyone
how's the
coming
job
in?
going? How's the job going?
The job's going good. We're in a really tough project right now, but working in a lot of long hours. But it's good. It's putting in a lot of work and doing some other stuff on the side too. So
Did you change or is it the same job?
same job, and I'm actually putting out I've been starting it's called Accenture. I'm doing a traveler's forecast. So I put it out to like all 800 employees to the Columbus office. So it's a little way I can
They
kind of
pay you for that?
Yeah.
no, not yet. I need to
Get
prove I can.
everybody hooked. Get them hooked on it like some crack
And then-
cocaine,
I've
and
got
then
to
pull
prove
it
Get
away.
away.
I've got to prove I can really add value, and then
Then pull it from the grip, and then
right. So it's cool. I'm still kind of figuring stuff out, but it's good.
Okay.
That's awesome. Good job, Brady.
Thanks,
Sounds like you're
guys.
doing a really good job.
Nothing what you guys are doing, but
Hey,
Kinda-
come
Oh,
down.
yes, it is.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Talking
are you?
about it.
Is anyone coming in Thursday night?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
I will be there Thursday